Ooh, huge audience. This is what we like to see. Okay, so I love it when people sit right at the front. Who's actually looked up Startup Sauna, so knows something about it? Anyone? Anyone? Oh, one person. Awesome. So you're excused. You don't need to listen to the rest of this. You know exactly what I'm going to say. So Startup Sauna was started back in 2010 by some students in Finland at Aalto University. And they saw that there was a challenge in the local ecosystem that there was no way for companies to get help, no structured way. And they looked around and they saw what Y Combinator was doing and what the US was doing in MIT, the acceleration, the help that the startups were getting. And they put together a program. And it lasted 2 weeks, and it was called Boot Camp. And they did this a couple of times. And then they realized that if you're trying to get your program found on the internet, calling it boot camp is actually really, really not a good plan, because it doesn't stand out. And they thought, how do we make our program stand out in the world? We're based in Finland. What is Finland famous for? Long, cold, dark winters, people who drink a fair amount of drink, and small, hot rooms. And there's one word that doesn't, apart from Swedish is the only language where they have their own word for sauna, but everyone else has taken the Finnish word for sauna. So let's make Startup Sauna. Let's make the startups sweat and so we started doing the program. And I was involved back then, briefly. So the program has evolved over the previous years, and this is possibly our favorite quote from one of our alumni. Startup Sauna is like Fight Club. They take you apart and put you back together again so you're better. And they made this quote after they had been through the program. So the program had evolved from a 2-week program for some Finnish teams to it's now a 4.5-week program for teams from the region. And the picture you see here, this team came into the program at the start, 4.5 weeks before. They were a couple of slightly confused Hungarians who thought they knew what they were doing. They very quickly learnt that they kind of did, but that was not going to make a scalable business that was going to take over the world. And as they said, we put them back together in such a way that they won the Slush 100. How many people here have heard of Slush? The conference, not the wet, horrible stuff that will be on the ground in a couple of months. Nobody. Oh, one person. The same person who's heard of sauna. So for the rest of you, Slush is a conference that happens every year in Finland in late November when the weather is miserable and nobody in their right mind would want to come to Finland. But we've managed to convince 15,000 people that coming and having a startup conference at the end of November would be a great idea. And one of the things that happens at Slush is there's a pitching competition called the Slush 100. 100 startups at the beginning. At the end of it, one company walks away with a check. And last year, the team was N Brightly. And they walked away with a check for €500,000. It wasn't cash, it was an investment check. And that was based off their pitch. So 4.5 weeks before, people barely understood what they were doing, had no idea if this was a scalable business or not. And after 4.5 weeks in the program, they got a fairly substantial investment check. Now, Startup Sauna is a non-profit. That means under Finnish law, they are actually registered as an organization, a legal entity that is non-profit. So all the money that they manage to pull in, they have to spend every year. This means that all the Startup Sauna events are free. So if you go to a Startup Sauna event and you get charged money, tell us, because that means that our local organizer, local partner, is ripping you off. Also, teams that take part in the program, we take no equity. Unlike virtually every other accelerator on the planet, we take no equity. we do this for various selfish reasons that end up helping all the teams that come through our program. So, what we actually do in the program, it's a 4.5-week program. The aim of it is to accelerate the best startups from the region. And what do we mean by the region? That's the Nordics, Baltics, Central Eastern Europe, and Russia. So going back a little bit into history, we started in Finland. And we saw that what's the problem that Finnish startups have? We have great engineers. These engineers are able to create amazing inventions, but they have no opportunity and no skills to sell them or to do business. That's the piece that's always missing. And then we noticed that the same thing is true of the Baltics and Russia. The Baltics purely because it's pretty easy for us to get there. Russia, again, pretty easy for us to get there from Finland. And then we expanded out into Central Eastern Europe, and we noticed, yep, it's pretty easy for us. Well, actually, some places here are a little trickier, but it's pretty easy for us to get here. And interestingly, the startups that we see in this region all suffer from the same problem. Great technology, but no idea about business. Or if they have an idea, it's a really, really bad one. So, for instance, we'll make money off adverts with an audience of 10,000 people globally. No, you won't. It's very easy for us to fix these business problems quite quickly in the program. And the stuff that happens in this region is amazing technology. So twice a year, Startup Sauna runs its program. So we found this is a pretty good rhythm for us twice a year. The program, as I said, 4.5 weeks. In the spring, it will run from May 2nd to June 3rd. So if you're thinking of coming to Startup Sauna, block those dates in your diary. You'll be doing almost nothing but being in the accelerator. But before we do the accelerator, and this is where we are helping the region, we have a selection period of about a month. And before we do the selection period, we go around the region to find the best teams. But unlike everyone else where we're just fishing and taking the best away, we don't want to do that. Remember, we're a non-profit organization. We want to help the local ecosystems. So what we do is we have a series of what we call local events. And this is where we take 2 to 4 Startup Sauna coaches to that city and work with a local partner who brings 2 or 3 of their mentors in. And for one day, we work with the local startups. So we start the day off with some pitches, then we select the top performers who get one-on-one coaching, and everyone else gets some group coaching. So if you manage to get into a Startup Sauna local event, you're going to get some great coaching for one day, and all you have to do is apply. You'd be amazed at how many people fail at that step. It's fill in a damn web form and actually put information in. Not, I'd like to be at this event. Read the question, understand the question, respond to it. So these local events, we go round and meet the locals. We get as coaches, we get a lot of satisfaction from this because we meet both the local coaches and mentors that are in the city, and we get to see the pattern. So periodically, there are patterns emerging. So this autumn, it was live like a local. So virtually every city we went to, somebody was doing I've been couch surfing and I had this great experience, and if only I could just, oh God. Yet again, the live like a local, yay. And somebody's going to do big at that, but it's not going to be you. Every time we do this, about 2 years ago, it was taxi apps. And all the Finns were going, why has everywhere got such a problem with taxis? You phone the number, the car turns up, you get in, you drives to where you need to go, and you pay him. What's the problem? Why do you need a damn app? Well, it turns out, when you actually look in the local cities in this region, taxis are a problem. It's just that everyone had thought of the same idea at the same time and none of them were scaling. So we get to see these patterns and be able to tell people, hey, by the way, yeah, you've either got to go really, really fast and get out of where you are, or give up. Go and do something less crap. The other thing you'll notice on there is Silicon Valley. So the best teams from a program, the teams that are ready will go to Silicon Valley. And by go to Silicon Valley, we actually organize a group trip there for about 10 days, 2 weeks. So it's not just like, it's not startup tourism. It's not like a group trip from, all the startups from Warsaw get on a bus and let's all go to Gdansk, yay, or let's all go to Minsk to go and see how's their startup scene. No. It's a group trip so that you can help each other, bounce ideas off each other in the evening. And then, of course, everyone who goes through Startup Sauna will get invited to Slush. So I said 15,000 people, and what was it, 800 something investors last time, over 1,000 media. It's a fairly epic event. All of this is made possible by the coaches of Startup Sauna. And we use the word coaches rather deliberately. Most other programs talk about mentors. And a mentor, in our view, is somebody who's there to make you feel good. Somebody who's there to help to reinforce your feelings of how great and awesome you are. A coach is there to make you better, to make you the best possible you can be. And if we upset you on the way, that's your problem. All right? So we're not there to deliberately upset you. We're there to give you direct, honest, actionable feedback. It's up to you as the entrepreneur to decide what you want to do with it. Most of the coaches are serial entrepreneurs. This means they have had 1, 2, or 3, or even more startups. Usually they've had some sort of semi-successful exit. Some have had very successful exits. Then there's the big group that everybody wants to talk to, the investors. And the investors don't want to talk to you. Well, they do want to talk to you, but they're not going to give you any money. They just want to talk to you. They want to help you out, want to make you better businesses. And then industry experts from various different verticals. And what we do with the coaches is, it's a number of workshops, a number of talks, and what the teams find most useful is the one-on-ones. So for about 20 hours a week during the program, Startup Sauna will fill your diary with really useful stuff. So when you're in the program, you're going to be, and you didn't think this was possible, even busier than you are now. So as an entrepreneur, you're thinking, where am I going to find these extra 20 hours? Basically, something else has to get cut. So some numbers. How many people in the room are actually entrepreneurs? 1, 2, 3. Okay. People running local accelerators or other startup helping things? Couple of people, and I'm assuming the rest of you are sort of government and tourists. Okay. Okay, so for the people who are numbers driven, we've done 12 batches. Started in 2010, 2 batches a year. You can do the math. 173 companies have gone through the program. By the way, starting the program does not automatically mean you'll complete it. If you do not work, if you do not improve, we reserve the right to kick you out. 145 local events. That means that probably about 100 of the coaches have gone to various cities in this region and seen the startups and talked with them one-on-one. So 1,500 startups. For a lot of these, so we go from 1,500 to 173. Those sound like reasonable odds. Until you find out that the 173 actually come out of a pool of over 4,000. So the percentages start to get very, very tough. So do not be, if you come to a local event and nobody likes you or nobody selects you, nobody thinks your idea is fantastic, or your company, sorry, not your idea, your company is not fantastic, that just means you weren't suitable for Startup Sauna at that point in time. And then the numbers that the entrepreneurs like to see, 88 million US dollars in external funding raised. So, the title of the talk was, how's Startup Sauna helping the European ecosystem? This is the current map of where we will be in the spring. I'm sounding a bit doubtful because, remember, Startup Sauna is run by students, and it's run in a startup style, which means everything's constantly changing, and the only thing you can say with confidence is things about the history. Anything in the future, it should happen. But things may change. We may get better options. So you can see that we're going to go to a number of different cities in the region. There's a big gaping hole in the middle there. That's mostly where Poland is. We have been to Poland before. We have had some very, very successful Polish teams come through the program. But we find the results get a bit variable here. So if somebody's is a local accelerator or comes from a different city and would like to have Startup Sauna do a local event in your city, you can come and talk to me. I'll be here for most of the rest of the day, and we can get you in contact and we can figure out, can we add your city to the tour? Because most of the coaches do like coming to Poland. It's nothing at all to do with the cheap beer, nothing at all. So in order to get to a local event, what are we looking for? What do we select? The most important thing is that you're actually at about the right stage. So the stage that Startup Sauna currently is working at is teams that will be launching or have just launched. That's where we're most effective. So that's looking at your product will actually be, you'll be trying to get people to give you money some point in the first quarter, first half of 2016. You may have already launched this month or last month. That's still okay. We're not like super strict on the exact time you've launched, but it's that stage of company. Companies who are struggling with the launch phase. The actual idea needs to be scalable. So a taxi app for Warsaw, not scalable. A taxi app for Poland, that's a good business, but not scalable. A taxi app for cities of over 5 million people, that could be scalable. There could be something there. So it's what's the ambition level, what's the idea, how are you framing your company? And then it's all about the team. Because you're extremely unlikely to have any great traction. Because if you've got great traction, you don't need us. Yeah, actually you do, but you're not really our prime target. Our prime target is companies that are struggling to get customers or that have challenges. But you've actually been able to pull things together. You've actually either raised some funding or you've got some other indication that something's going well. And that's what we're looking for. So when we select based off these 3 criteria. So, are you at the right stage? Do you have a team that can do something? And does the idea sound vaguely plausible from what you've told us? So, a little bit about me. This is obviously the most interesting part of this session. I'm on Twitter as @YMB, so you can go and look at all the stuff I retweet there periodically. I am one of the 3 bald men. So called because we are 3 men who have very little hair. And what we do is we help startups with pitching. And why are the 3 of us? Because we have different skills. And we've seen our methods and our process works because we've built and developed them since 2010 with Startup Sauna and with other programs. So we also are in the region helping startups. And the reason for the really cool picture there on the right-hand side is that's what I actually am doing currently as my day job. That's the 46 hours a week. So over 50 odd, whatever it is. Lots of hours a week. I work for a company called Solul. solu.co. What we do is we're completely reinventing the computer. So we're making a brand new type of computer that will replace your desktop or your laptop computer and solves the problems of maintenance, collaboration, and revenue for developers. We charge a monthly fee and share some of that monthly fee with the developers so they don't need to think about business models. The operating system is designed for the modern way of working, which is much more collaborative than the old operating systems. And the zero maintenance comes from the fact that we're cloud linked, so everything's always backed up, always ready for you. Whenever you have problems, you can always pull it back from the cloud. So that's a little bit about my day job, a little bit about me. I'm pretty easy to find on the internet. Startup Sauna, as a program, since 2010, has been helping the best startups from the Nordics, Baltics, Central Eastern Europe, and Russia become amazing, innovative companies. We take no equity, and before each batch, we tour the region doing local events. Thank you.